Welcome to our Kingdom Empowered Women Making History series, Rise Women. We are celebrating Kingdom Empowered women who have made the decision to take their faith to a higher level, to activate their I live by faith and not by sight, to rise to God's higher purpose in their personal, business, and ministry callings. Life Purpose by Design mission is to inspire and to engage and to empower women to live empowered on purpose in their God design with three C's, with clarity of purpose, with a courageous faith, and a commitment to finish purpose. These are women who have chosen to rise to purpose, who knows that their everyday circumstances matter to us, but they must not master us. On our Rise Women celebration, we are issuing a clarion call to women, all women, to get their hopes up, to get your faith up, to look up, and to get ready to rise up. We're calling you out of places of low-lying fruit. What's easy? Your comfort zone mentality. We're calling you out of lingering in low-level places of your desires, your dreams, and your visions, stagnant places of disappointments, regrets, and retractions because of past mistakes or failed attempts. On today's celebration of Rise Women, we are honored to have a very special guest. We are having our coach, speaker, and author, Sonya Wilson-Bailey. Welcome, Sonya, to Life Purpose by Design.
Good afternoon, Miss Sheila. How are you? Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi. So I want to tell our guests a little bit more about you. Sonya is the CEO and founder of Bailey Family Services, which she's going to share with us. She's also, and I kind of use these words based on what I saw in her bio, a hope and transformation speaker and certified life coach. She's also the founder of Whole Women in Progress. So, Sonya, thank you so much for joining us here at Life Purpose by Design. I'm looking so forward to your sharing with us your Rise Women journey. But before you and I get started, I want to give a little background about the vision for Rise Women. So, Rise, the first thing is that we have to be ready. We have to be prepared to embrace the unexpected opportunities that God places on our path to living purpose. Secondly, we have to be willing to ignite our faith, to ignite that inner knowing, to go at God's speed in your God inspired dreams and your visions. Thirdly, is surpass. We are rising so that we can exceed our own and others' expectations of us and what our ideal plan is for living that better life for our future and we're going to pursue God's greater purpose. And last but certainly not least, we are in great expectations. We are full of hope that the unexpected, that God's purpose is going to be fulfilled by God's greater plan, his purpose, and his promises. So let's get started with our Rise Woman honoree for today, Mrs. Sonya Wilson-Bailey.
Yay!
So tell us a little bit. I've given them an overview. Tell us a little bit more about Miss Sonya Bailey.
Miss Sonya Wilson Bailey is an overcomer. She is a woman that will not stop. She has faced many challenges in her life, but she is that woman that continues to grow, continue to evolve, and continue to help other women on that journey as well. I'm just so grateful to be on your show today, Miss Sheila, and thank you for inviting me. But that's what Sonya entails. Anybody that knows me, that really know me, can tell you that she is a woman that has overcome many, many, many obstacles. She loves helping other people. She has a heart for others, and she is that woman that person will call in the midnight hour, that person that's going to pray them through, that person that's going to encourage them, that person that's going to speak life to them. And that's just who I am. I I don't try to minimize that. I try to continue to evolve and continue to grow and continue to allow myself to be what I can to others, as well as first and foremost taking care of me.
Awesome. Well, you and I met while we were going through an accelerator cohort at the I Women Business Center here in Charleston, South Carolina. And we met virtually because I was in person and you did the classes virtually. And we were assigned each other's to be accountability partners after we finish, the business training. And I'm so glad that God handpicked each of us to be each other's accelerators, accountability partners. So you and I have been meeting on Zoom for a couple of months, sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning, and we've been able to bring our dreams and our visions, that our God-sized dreams and visions that He's given us. We've been able to have very transparent conversations about where we are, what our itinerary was for the day versus where God intersects our itinerary and shows us His plan and purpose. What I love about being an Accelerate accountability partner with you, Sonya, is this: that you and I can be authentic, we can be transparent, we're not judgmental of each other's. We just laid on the line. If we missed our deadlines and what we thought we were going to get done for that particular week or 2 week time span, you and I just start the conversation out. This is what I said I was going to do. This is what I haven't done, but this is what I have done. And we always leave there with even more spiritual synergy for the journey that God has us on. And I think we propel each other to kingdom excellence. And so I just want to tell you thank you for being my accelerator accountability partner and sticking in there with me. Thank you so much for sticking around.
Thank you, thank you. We I think we both gleaned from each other. We both helped each other. We both encouraged each other. We both come together and prayed for each other. And I am just grateful for whoever did the matchup. They were really being spirit led, and my life has been drastically changed just by the time that we've spent with each other. And I feel the same way. Is mutual. I feel the same way, and just grateful for you. Because a lot of times we as women, we will get together, but we don't always be transparent. And I've found that with the two of us, we have been able to just unmask and really just keep it 100 with each other. And I believe that's what have helped us to excel and continue to evolve and do what we need to do for the glory of God, because it's all about His glory for sure.
And all I can say to that is ditto. So I want to kind of transition into your purpose for being here, where we're going to talk about your Rise Woman journey as you are living out your I live by faith and not by sight. So I want to start by asking you a few questions. So let's talk about readiness, being prepared to embrace those unexpected opportunities that God places on our path. Ephesians 3:20 tells us, now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all that we can ask, think, or imagine, according to His power at work within us. So can you share with us, what is one unexpected opportunity that God placed on your path for discovering your life purpose?
One of one of the most unexpected things that's happened to me along this journey is losing my mom at a very early age. My mom was 51 when she passed away. Um, I, I am the oldest sibling of four siblings, and that was a unexpected situation that pivoted my entire life. Far as me assisting my dad with his day-to-day life care, doctor's appointments, finances, just that situation kind of pivoted me to really be a thinker out of the box, not only taking care of my house, but taking care of helping him with his house, and just being that leader to my siblings. I know that God has equipped me to lead when He was knitting me together in my mother's womb, but I saw my leadership heighten even the more during that season of my life. After I came out of depression and other things you battle and you go through with the loss of a parent. And a lot of times if people haven't lost a parent, they can sympathize with you, but they really don't understand the journey that you're on. And it's a different type of journey. And that happened to me at a very early age. I was only married a year during that time. I think me and my husband had been married about a year and a half when I lost my mom. And I'm soon to be married 25 years. So, I mean, having my son, all of those things that you have your mother there for you, or you have, that person that knows you better than anybody else, that loves you beyond any other situation or any other, love you more than any other person, really, because she's carried you and gave birth to you. So I think that was one of the most pivoting times, Miss Sheila, where I knew that as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, I had to begin to journey, and my journey was not going to look like the typical person because my mom was so young and because I was young when I lost my mom.
So, how did that experience? Is there a direct link to that major life experience to your answering God's call for the whole Women in Progress?
I feel like I'm glad that you asked that. That when God gave me the vision for Whole Women in Progress, He basically it showed me as me being a midwife. When most women have their babies, if anybody's in the delivery room, there is mama and, of course, the husband if the young lady is married. So, what He showed me when He gave me the vision for Whole Women in Progress is that I was going to be a midwife to other women that were going through things that I had encountered in my life, that it was now time for me to be that midwife for them, for me to help them to give birth, for me to help them push, for me to help them come out of other situations that I have myself come out of, but being able to be that aid and assistance to them on that journey and letting them know that, hey, it's going to be okay. It might not feel all right now, but this pain is necessary to push you into purpose. So that was one of the main things that God showed me when He gave me that vision for Whole Women.
I'm glad you shared that. I was sharing a word the other day about letting your adversity drive you versus define you. And what you just said, it so fits into just the message and the vision of that. But you talked a lot about how you're that midwife, that kingdom empowered midwife that God has purposed through your Whole Women in Progress. And that takes us through our second impact of being R.I.S.E Women, and that is to ignite. So this is about, working up, and I'm not talking about working up of, works of the flesh. I'm talking about just igniting and by faith, just having that inner knowing for you to go at God's speed in whatever God inspired dreams and visions that He's given you. So how did you fuel your faith for living your God-sized dreams and visions? Because I know there are days when we feel like, we need a we need a lot of something extra. So tell me, how does your faith drive or define or fuel your living your best life forward according to God's purpose?
Without my faith, I wouldn't be here. Without my faith, Whole Women would not have been birthed. Without my faith, and my desire to want more of God, it would not even be but a mere thought if it wasn't my relationship with God. Has my relationship been with God like that always? No. Have I come kicking and screaming sometimes? Yes, ma'am. Have I felt like, okay, I just can't do it today? I've had all of those moments, and I think if people are really honest and transparent with themselves, we have all had those type of days. It was days that I didn't want to get out the bed. It was days that I didn't want to get dressed. But I believe that my faith in God is what has driven me to really continue to keep my hand to the plow, continue to stay fixed and focused, and continue to surround myself, my God, with women that are able to see who I am in kingdom and able to, continue to pull me, continue to pull me even when I'm having those moments, and I thank God that God has strategically put some women in my life that I have not known, that they don't know, other than me now. They don't, they don't know that old Sonya, the party Sonya, the clubbing Sonya, but they have trusted what they see inside of me, and they have taken on a mandate to cultivate that and continue to help me to evolve in what God desires me to be. I'm not going to start calling names because some of them are deceased, but some of them are here and very active in my life now, and I'm so grateful for them. And that's what keeps my faith going, because it doesn't matter how many scriptures it doesn't matter how many times you walk in the church door, but it's all about your relationships. And sometimes we have to be honest that we get weary sometimes. We have those days, and I just thank God for my faith. And even when I feel low, even when I feel like I can't take another step, that God surround me with women like you and other women that just continue to encourage me and help me walk through this journey.
And I'm so glad that you shared that about your circle, because Jesus modeled that for us with him and his disciple. Because, I mean, he had all authority, all power. He didn't have to have the 12, but he chose to have the 12 with him. And
Mhm.
so we are, as his followers, we have the opportunity to be in community with each other and to support each other and not to compete with each other, because you and I know that we're each fearfully and wonderfully made. There's
Yes.
no competition. There's no need to rush or hurry through anything. We just need to go at God's speed. So let's talk about surpassing. For me personally, I know I've had my little set of plans and ideas that were way so small. And then as God's plan and purpose begins to unfold, I'm seeing that he has such a greater and greater. Don't think of it as bigger per se. I think
Mhm.
you're thinking about the impact that God is allowing you to have, his kingdom impact here on the earth as it is in heaven. So let's talk about surpass. And again, Ephesians 3:20, that tells us that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. And I like to say that we like okay, God, I want you to do exceedingly abundantly above all that I can ever ask, think, or imagine. But the latter part of that is the empowerment of that. And that is according to the power that works in us. And that power has to be through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. You can't get the power without the relationship. So
Amen.
give me one example of a moment that you thought, I got a real good plan. This is really going to work out. This is going to blow up. This is going to be big, only to realize that God had a greater purpose and a plan that he wanted for you to embrace so that his plan could prevail in your life. So tell us about Sonya's plan, but then when God's plan and purpose showed up and prevailed.
One of the main things that I can think about is when I just, whole women in progress was just a mere thought. I was like, I'll just get some women together. We'll just, have like a girls' day and, just kind of relax and let our hair down. And, at first I just was thinking small, just do it, just come together. And the more my phone rung, the more women called me, the more women were asking for prayer, the more women that were reaching out, based on a post I might have posted on social media, wherever, or just that phone call that came at 1 or 2 a.m. And that's when I realized that God wanted more from me. And it wasn't contingent upon my schedule or what I wanted to do and how I felt. So I at those moments, and it was multiple ones, Miss Sheila, where he was just pulling me and just letting me know that, hey, daughter, this is what I want you to do. You already do this anyway. You already doing it. You already been doing it for people, and being that support and that listening ear and that guide for years. And it was like once he began to continue to tug, and I would meet this person and they would say this, or I would meet this person and they would say that, and none of it was out of sync. All of it was right in sync what I was already hearing. But you know how we can hear things and ignore it. We like the
Yes.
kid that you calling and telling to come here, and they acting like they can't hear you. That was me. But I had to decide that his plan was greater than mine, and I could no longer be disobedient. I could no longer ignore him. I could no longer say, God, I'm not qualified. I'm not good enough. I can't do this, because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So I had to trust the God in me to do what it is that he was saying that he was calling me to do, and it wasn't contingent on how I felt about it. It wasn't up for discussion. It wasn't up for debate. It's like, daughter, I need you to do this, and I'm like, Daddy, I don't wanna. Yes, you're gonna. I need you to do this.
God is like, you're not getting the vote. I
Yes.
remember one time I was going through a similar journey, and God was like, okay, I thought you said you wanted to do my kingdom will be done on earth as it is in heaven, and let it begin with me. That used to be one of my things that I would say. And this morning, when I was actually having breakfast, God
Uh-huh.
led me to the scripture and he just told me to write it down. I'm going to need it for this. And I'm going to read it, and you're going to understand how it relates to everything that you just shared. It's Galatians 3:20, and it says, my old self has been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but it is Christ that lives in me.
And me.
And so I'm very excited because I'm joyful. I'm not excited because I had no idea what you were going to share, what you were going to say, but now I see the connection for why
Uh-huh.
God had me to write the scripture down to share it at this moment based on what you just
Wow.
said. And we all have to go
Mhm.
through those phases where we have to make a decision that it is no longer I, but it is Christ who lives in me. That is the ultimate kingdom empower rise woman. Galatians 3:20. So
Yeah.
if anyone, if you're joining us live or you're listening to this through replay, you go, how do I become the kingdom empowered woman who rise to purpose, who decides, and not only decides, but who executes by action, by putting your faith into action, that you will live by faith and you will not just live by sight. You will know without a shadow of a doubt that our circumstances matter to us, but they must not master us. Galatians 3:20 is our gift to you today, my sister friend, that your old self has been crucified with Christ by being in relationship with him. And it is no longer you who live, but it is Christ who lives in you. So I hope that you will be encouraged by that. Because sometimes I know we can look at other people from the sidelines and it appears that they have it all together, that all the blessings and the flavor of God, favor of God is going in a different direction. But God has not forgotten you. God knows your name, your address. He knows the very number of hairs on your head. And you are all rise women. We're rise women because not because of an accomplishment or resume or some lifetime achievement. We are rise women because the same resurrected power who raised Jesus Christ from the dead resides in us. And so we rise in that power. That's
Mhm.
what the word tells us. It's not by power, it's not by might, but it is by my spirit. So I just want to say that to all the women who are listening to this. You are a fearfully and wonderfully made rise woman by God's design. You don't have to wait for accolades from someone else to declare that about yourself. So let's talk about expectations, Miss Sonya, because we all have them. We have
Yes.
our expectations of ourselves. We have our expectations of what we're hoping and praying that God will do in and through and on our behalf. as we represent him as kingdom empowered women. Proverbs 23:18 says, "There is surely a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off."
Mm,
That should give us all
mm,
of courage,
will not.
sense of boldness, because God is saying that hope, that expectation that you have for your future, it cannot be cut off because it is a gift from me. And I love the Message translation. It says, "You will be rewarded for this. Your hope will not be disappointed." Every time I read those words, it brings back so many memories of
Yes.
the journey that God has had me on. So, share with us, what is your greatest hope and expectations right now for your ministry, for your business, for all those God-sized dreams and visions? And you can talk about Women in Progress, or you can talk about whatever ministry or vision that you want to share with us. What is your greatest hope?
Oh my greatest hope is to see women's lives, see them delivered, see them set free, see them walk in their God-given gift, their talents. They just to see them, to know that no matter what has happened, and I say this all the time, that whatever happened to you was not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. So I want to see women healed. I want to see them whole. I want to see them renewed, refreshed, empowered. All of us walking in what God has ordained for our lives, for us to just evolve and go into that great place of destiny and just being all that God would have us to be. Know that you're not what has happened. You are not that, just to see them evolve, see them grow, and just see them walk. Um, Not just walk, but walk fruitfully. See their lives change. See them give their lives to Christ. See them just know that, hey, if he can do it for me, he can do it for anybody. And just having that fulfillment, just not going to church, not just looking like you okay, but really doing the internal work and being whole mind, body, and soul. I say all the time, it's an inside job. We gotta move beyond the mirror. We gotta move beyond what we see on the outside. Your definition of your beauty and your glory is not defined by a number on a scale. None of that. For you to really know that whatever God says you are is what you are, and just being able to embrace that and just be your authentic self and walk in the fullness of all that God has for us, because what He has for us is greater than any gift that we can get from anybody. It's greater than any pocketbook. It's greater than any pair of red bottom shoes. It's greater than the most amazing husband that you may have. His love is greater than any love, and just to see women have that love, oh my God, that's my heart's desire. That's what I want. Not just whole women, my autism family, my special needs community, every woman, even as we take care of our children, no matter what the diagnosis is, that we know that we're being the best mom that we can be, that we're being the best wife that we can be. God wants us to have the fullness of every aspect of our life. He wants us to have it all. Every aspect of our life, He wants us to walk into the fullness. And we can have that, but we gotta know that we can only have it in Him, through Him. And that's my heart. That's my heart's desire.
I love what you said, and I'm going to paraphrase it a little, something you said. I hope I don't mess it up. But it was
That's
the
okay.
whole thing about your past may not have been your fault, but
Uh-huh.
your future is your responsibility.
Right.
And I just love that. And you and I know, as kingdom empowered and centered women, that, God holds our future in His hands, but He
Yes, He
gives
does.
us the choice, just like He asked the man who had been laying by the pool for healing for 38 years, "Do you want to be made whole?" So when I think
Oh
about the whole
goodness.
Women in Progress and the totality of the lives that you reach for the women, you're asking that question over and over again, but in different ways. Like, do you want to be made whole? And I am
Mhm.
just grateful that God has given you the ministry and the business so that women can walk alongside you with your ministry and your business. And they can say yes, not only saying, first and foremost, saying yes to God, that yes, I do want to be made whole in mind, body, spirit, and soul. But then
Yes.
they also get to partner with someone like you who is empowered by God to walk
Mhm.
beside them and to help them walk that pathway to becoming the whole women in progress. And we're all in progress. We're all a work in progress as we're being perfected in the image of Christ. So, what is a word of wisdom that you can share with a sister or a brother who may be listening to this, who is just struggling with that whole live by faith and not by sight? Because they're like, you don't see what I'm seeing. I don't know how
Mhm.
how do I get that faith and how do I rise up in faith? How do they rise to believe God for their greater purpose?
First and foremost, for them to be able to believe it, they have to believe in themselves. And a lot of times, people, we as individuals, don't always believe in who God says we are. We don't know Him, we don't have a relationship with Him. So, what we read in His Word is like, we don't really believe that can be for us. But we have to first believe in ourselves and we have to love ourselves. We can't expect anybody to love us if we don't love us. So we have to first start with loving ourselves and asking God that whatever it is that's in me that may be hindering me, Lord, from surrendering my will to your will, surrendering my life to you, God. Help me to give it over to you, Lord. Help me to let you have full access to me so that I can do and be all that you desire me to be. And when we make that decision, we just gave him full reins to us because we belong to him anyway. We are his children. We are his creation. We are his workmanship. So we already belong to him. But just inviting him into our heart and accepting him as Lord and Savior, and that's the greatest advice that I can give anyone. I don't care what it is that you've done, how filthy you may feel, how dirty you may feel, how you just feel like you're not enough. You are more than enough because God said so. And because God said so, when you allow him to have all of you, not part-time, not on Sunday for 2 hours, but full access to your life, there is nothing that God can't do. I'm a living witness. It's nothing that he can't do. He can do the impossible. He's a miracle working God. Ooh, my.
I'm so glad you shared that, and you said
Mm,
because God said so. So
mm,
women, we are calling you out to rise because God said so. God says,
mm.
get up. Like he told the invalid man, take up your bed and walk.
Walk.
And so to walk, this man had to get up from that low-lying place, just like God is calling us to get up
Mhm.
from the low-lying places that we sometimes find ourselves. And like you said, Sonya, forget looking for the fault. Just take responsibility for living it forward on purpose. So, thank you so much for sharing your Rise Women journey with us and sharing about your ministry and your business and just feeding into us a message that's been so inspiring and empowering. So, I want to talk to all of my women right now. So, we may be acknowledging and celebrating a small group of women who have decided to live kingdom empowered, to live by faith and not by sight. You're also part of that journey. You get to make the decision that you can start with the smallest of steps and live empowered on purpose to live forward into God's greater plan and purpose for your life. So I just want to encourage you that you can rise inspired by faith. Luke 145 tells us, blessed is she who believed that the Lord would fulfill his promises to her. You've got to believe that God's promises will be fulfilled when we partner with him. 2 Timothy 1:2 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And because God's word says it, We need to just believe it. So, Ms. Sonya, I came up with this Rise to Purpose proclamation that I want to encourage our viewing audience to say with us, but I want you and I to be in agreement to also say it out loud. So, if you will join me in just letting us proclaim this, like you say, release it into the atmosphere and wait for the harvest to come. So
Yes.
let's do it. Starting today
Today, I
is my time to rise.
rise.
I
I
am
am
ready
ready
to ignite
to
my
my
faith,
faith,
surpass man's ideal
that
plan
plan
for my
for
life.
life, and
I expect
respect for
fulfillment of my
fulfillment,
God's
not for
greater purpose life.
purpose life.
And like my sister Sonia says, because God said so, that is what he is expecting of us. He expects us to trust him and to believe him that we are rise women, that he created us for purpose and on purpose. Sister Sonia, thank you so much for joining us today here at Light Purpose by Design. I'm looking forward as we continue our journey as accelerators, accountability partners. I know that you and I have some awesome God-sized dreams and visions and strategic plans
Yes,
all lined up, and we're going to continue this journey, trusting and believing in God that we are rise women and we will rise to purpose. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, our listening audience, also for joining us here at Light Purpose by Design for the month of March, where we have been celebrating and acknowledging kingdom empowered and kingdom making history women. Want to just encourage you to continue to join us here at Light Purpose by Design so that you can live empowered on purpose with clarity, with a courageous faith, and a commitment to live it forward purpose. And we are here to help you. Whenever you're needing help with that journey, feel free to contact us and to take advantage of the Light Purpose by Design consulting services that we offer, whether it's empowerment speaking, whether it's life purpose clarity and resiliency coaching. But we also offer leadership training for sustainable public private collaborations, which is a result of my 30-and-a-half-year experience as a public health administrator. I also want to take this time before we close to invite you to join me on April 6th for a Power Thoughts book club that we will be launching. We're going to be doing the Power Thoughts 12 Strategies to Win the Battlefield of Your Mind by author Joyce Myers. And our Zoom registration link can be found on our Life Purpose by Design page. So we hope that you will register and you will join us as we continue to rise to purpose. Be blessed, and we will see you here next time at Life Purpose by Design.